All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking and Reviews, back to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're on Season 6, talking about Episode 6. So one more to the what I would consider the halfway point, Episode 7, which should be coming out next week. So this one is called Inescapable, and we got full spoilers coming at you right now. Again, can't state this enough, and I do this all the time. I don't even think he watches my videos anymore. But if you are really interested in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews, I highly recommend that you go over to Dee's channel, Dee's Reviews. He does an incredible job every week on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and every show that he does a really good job on. So I always start my videos these days, my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes, by telling you to check his out. Because he's... I do this because I love the show. He does it because he loves the show. So anyway, Inescapable is a kind of a bottle episode in a way, because I mean it is taking place in one location, basically, in their minds. The Chronicoms have put them together in, of course, you know, a shared brain experience, which gives us a really cool, fun, no rules kind of episode where anything that they remember, anything they can imagine, becomes like true in this space, kind of like the Matrix, like right, the construct, the place where anything you need could be there, anything that you could think of. Wow, actually that is exactly, I think, what it is. But what we get here is a nice, like, we get the characters back together again. And then we get to explore their entire relationship through like memories and suppressed memories and secret feelings and things that needed to be said for these two characters to move forward. Things that they've been holding back on. Like, we know they love each other, but they've got issues to work out. Like, Fitz has Leopold, and apparently Simmons has the ring monster in a box. Well, basically a version of herself, which was really, really well done. It was making me question whether that was Elizabeth Henstridge or not. And always seeing like the Nazi, the Hydra version of Fitz is really unsettling. I can handle zombie Simmons or whatever she was, but Hydra Fitz is really upsetting. Because it's like seeing such a good person become Hitler in so many words. It's just not pleasant to think about. It really isn't. I really hate it. Every single time. I'm just like, no. I don't want Leopold back. Please. So hopefully by the end of this episode, with everything that they do, maybe we don't have to see them again, because yeah, I mean, like I said, spoilers, him and the monster girl end up, their memory, I don't know how all this works. We're supposed to like suspension of disbelief, right? So apparently their memories fuck. So there's that. Also, this is a fun episode for Mac. Mac gets to have a lot of fun stuff to do in this. Basically, you know, like, he's the tank, and so he gets to be the tank. And then at the end, this is one of my favorite Mac moments, where Chloe Bennett's Daisy cuts him off, and just that, like, kind of did that, like, like, kind of not pouty, but just like the timing was perfect on the "you just kind of stepped on my moment" thing. That was really good, because he doesn't usually, you know, they don't usually write him funny, and so it's nice to see when an actor like this can get to play with the role with an episode like this. Also, like, Fitz catching up on everything, because that's what this also is kind of, is like, we all know what's happening, but Fitz doesn't. And so he has to relive his, well, I don't know if that's a pun, but he has to see how his death affected everybody, and then knowing that Coulson didn't survive either is a lot for him to take in. And he still doesn't know about Sarge. He doesn't know about the freaking Shrikes. He doesn't know about Deke's return. He does find out that he has a grandchild, but I don't know. But the best parts of this were watching them be younger, especially like in front of Coulson, where I'm reminded of the way that they were like in season 1 and season 2, mostly season 1. Where they were competitors. We knew in our hearts that they were meant to be together, just because of the way they were written. I mean, it's a TV show, right? There are formulas, and this show is no different. But fortunately, this didn't feel like, even though they were forcing these two characters upon us, since they were written so well and since they were acted so well, it doesn't matter that we are being led to their eventual relationship, because we want to see it, because of the actors mostly. Like, their chemistry is really, really great. And even when they're fighting, which we see a lot of in this, it's necessary. It's very necessary for their characters to move forward, because otherwise we'd have all these questions of like, why didn't she do this, and why didn't he ask her about that, and blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of a way of like really closing the book, and I still was afraid that one of them wasn't going to get out of this. But I think that's just because every time they're together, they get ripped apart. And that's why I'm just saying, stop it. It's season 6 now. Okay? It's season 6. If you do this again, I will be fucking livid. And I think a lot of people are tired of this trope too. This has become a trope. This has become a cliche. No more busting up the gang, okay? No more. Every time they do that, they're like, oh, we're never leaving each other. I know it brings drama to the show, but it still brings me back to Jin and Sun on Lost, where they finally get together, and then they get, spoilers for Lost, okay? They finally get together, they find each other, and it's just like, it's supposed to be poetic, but it just pissed me off. Because even if the stars, the whole universe can't stop them from being together, it also usually kills them at the same time. So enough is enough. I know I can't be alone on this. But I was trying to figure out which one of them is more messed up. Because they both bottled up their emotions. They both are pretending like one's worse than the other, but I mean, he bottled it up so bad that when the framework came across, it finally was let loose to do whatever, his ego, his pride, or whatever. Her, on the other hand, she put everything in a box, a metaphorical box, and a literal box in this case, but neither of them, and again, it's like a lot of shows, and like a lot of us, we keep our feelings bottled up. We don't say what we want to say, not just for fear of how that person will react if we tell them, but like how the rest of the world will react, and like if you've got a job, how will that affect your job? Things like that. Like, a lot of this stuff has to do with like relationships, the things that we don't say, and how we don't want to ruin things, and how a lot of times we'll just let things lie because it's safer that way. But eventually, and I can attest to this, things catch up to you, and it's better to try to get it off your chest sooner rather than later, because sometimes later it's too late. And so I'm glad that we're having this episode, even though it is season 6, and this would have been nice to have done this maybe a couple of seasons ago. But I like that this season, though, is got so many different episodes like that they're doing. They're not just following the same formula every week like they would maybe generally speaking in a 22 episode season. They got 13 episodes, so they're cherry picking. They get to really focus on things, and I think that this is an important chapter in this season's story to move forward. I don't think we could move forward, really, honestly, without having tons of questions, but you know what I mean? And so eventually, yeah, they were going to get out of this, right? I mean, they could have like done a Whedon, like all of a sudden a shocker, and one of them ended up dead. But really, it was about them figuring out that they are strongest together. They keep saying it, you know what I mean? They say it all the time. We're unstoppable when we're together. But it's almost like they really didn't believe it until now. Like, really believe it. They had to really slap each other in the face and work out some issues before they could finally be free. Now, even though they're freed by Enoch, which again, that was almost to me more important than the rest of this episode, was getting Enoch back to like normal. Because that little change at the end of last episode it was like really like, I know logically it makes sense for him as a Chronicom, but like his time with Fitz and all of them should have changed him enough to where he would question his own people, like what they need to do, and his friendship that he's built, like it would become as important as what he needs. And thankfully, you know, he's able to turn the tide on. We never see it. We don't need to see it, but Enoch saves the day, gets them out, and now we're headed back to the show proper, where next week we're going to see that Sarge, it sounds like Sarge is going to be taking control of the team by the end of the episode, because yeah, this is going to be another exposition heavy episode, I think, where it's time to explain the plot. It's time to explain what's going on, so that way the next 6 episodes that end the season can move forward in a nice fashion. And speaking of moving forward, this episode clipped. Oh my God, did this episode clip by. So anyway, everything worked out in the end in crazy ways. The whole cutting him open and ripping his heart out thing, that was pretty crazy. I mean, they didn't show any blood, but wow. So anyway, I loved this episode. It's the second best episode, I think, since Fear and Loathing on the Planet of Kitson. So 2 really, really great episodes. This whole season's been really good except for Code Yellow, but I digress on Code Yellow. If you like Code Yellow, I'm sorry. It sucked. For the most part. 50%. Anyway, if you liked this review, though, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Otherwise, it isn't inescapable to come back, but I really wish you would. So please come back and finish watching the rest of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6 with me as it airs. Please like and subscribe. The channel's moving in a good direction right now, and it's making it real easy to make some of these videos. So anyway, this is Rabbit Smirking on Review saying we'll be back next week with more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Otherwise, we've got tons of stuff on the channel, including Handmaid's Tale, Dark Season 2, The Terror we're finishing up from 2018. Sam Rockwell month is still going on. And so yeah, tons and tons and tons of stuff going on the channel. Plus, if you look, there are lots of playlists. If there isn't a show or movie on here that you don't want to watch a review for, I dare you to not find it. So anyway, this is Robin Smirking on Review saying have a great day, and we will see you in the next video.